Hello my friends, welcome to my channel, Discover with Kim. I'm Kim, I'm so excited you're here with me today. Welcome to this week's book chat. This week we are going to be chatting and picking my October TBR together. Let's get into it. Okay my friends, so October time for me is very much about spooky season, it's about cozy season, and it's all about those changing of the weather from like warm to chilly. So my books that I plan to pick out for October are all going to be based around those themes. So they're going to be like the spooky thriller themes, they're going to be those feel-good cozy vibes, and honestly there's anything to me that screams fall or October or spooky or anything like that, I'm going to be grabbing those off my shelves and I'm going to be putting them on my October TBR because it's the perfect time of year to read it. So let's get started. So these two big shelves behind me include my entire TBR. Yes, these two shelves are my TBR shelves, so we're going to be picking all the books from my October TBR from these shelves. I'm thinking I'm probably going to be picking maybe 5 to 6 books. So let's start picking. Where should we get started? Okay, so since it's spooky season, I'm thinking we need like a thriller mystery, right? That's the perfect place to start, so let me get my options out. Well, this is really easy because most of my thriller mystery books are still wrapped up for a challenge video I plan to do in October. So I do plan to read a bunch of thriller mysteries in October, but I cannot put them actually on my TBR because they are currently wrapped up behind me and I'll be picking them in that video. So that means I have 4 books that I can pick from for my thriller mysteries that are unwrapped, and that is The Cuckoo's Calling by Robert Galbraith, which is actually J.K. Rowling, The Winter Sister by Megan Collins, Next to Heaven by James Frey, and Forget Me Not by Stacey Willingham. Now, since these are my options, I'm going to be honest, these two are the ones that look most tempting to me. So we have these two to pick from, and I'm going to be honest, I don't even need to read them. This is the one I know I want to pick. Forget Me Not by Stacey Willingham. Let me give you a quick synopsis. This book just came out a few months ago. In August, I got through my book of the month. The cover is absolutely beautiful. I love the vibes of it and it looks so spooky, and I love that it's going to be a mix between like summer and spooky vibes because it takes place in the summertime, but it's following the disappearance of a girl's sister from a long time ago and a missing diary that was found and all this different interesting stuff. So 22 years ago, our main character's sister, she went missing shortly after her 18th birthday, but was found in her car. A man was arrested and the case was closed. Since then, our main character Claire, she has attempted to forget this and move on with her life, but she gets an unexpected call from her father that makes her come back home and face it all. She has this entire summer looming before her and she's not sure what to do, so she ends up taking a job at a vineyard down in Galloway Farm, which is in coastal South Carolina. It's less than an hour away from where she grew up. It is actually one of the last places where her sister was before she died / disappeared. Now while she's there, she starts to settle in, but then she stumbles across an old diary written by one of the owners, and at first it just seems like a nice little story, but then it turns into something much more sinister and starts to describe all these details of unsolved crimes. Claire starts to become more and more secluded as she obsesses over it, and she's really into it, and then she wonders, is this all tied to her sister's disappearance? That sounds so good and so fun, and I love that it's going to have like that late summer vibe / that spooky fall vibe, so it's going to be a good mix of like transitioning into the next season. So I'm thinking I'm going to be starting out October with maybe this one. Let's move on to my next pick. Okay, so I'm looking at my bookshelves here, and I know 2 books that I really want to read in October, so I'm going to grab those right now, and we'll talk about those first because those will be my next 2 picks, and then that will kind of help me figure out which ones I want to pick for my last ones. So let me grab them. So the 2 books that I know I want to read in October, and that's simply just because they have October vibes. They really have spooky October vibes for me. And that is Night of the Witch by Sarah Rash and Beth Revis, as well as Enchantra by Kaylee Smith. So let's talk about them. This first one, Night of the Witch, is book 1 in a series. I do not own book 2 yet, but I am hoping to buy it soon. So hopefully I absolutely love book 1, and then I'll want to buy book 2. Let me read you the back because I'll be honest, I don't remember much about this. I just know that this just gives like spooky October vibes to me. You can't tell me it doesn't. Their love could never be forbidden. Fritzi is a witch, the lone survivor of a brutal attack of her coven. She's determined to find her only remaining family member and bring the Hexenjägers, Zealot witch hunters, to justice for the lives they ended. To do this, she will need to take down their leader, the merciless and enigmatic commandment Dieter Kirch. Otto is a Hexenjäger, and that's just his cover. Years ago, the Hexenhaggers burned his innocent mother alive, and he has been plotting the revenge against the people who tore apart his family ever since. Now the time has come for them to pay for what they've done. When Fritzi and Otto are unexpectedly thrown together, neither is sure they can trust the other. The reluctant truth, fueled by their common enemy, takes them from their city at the heart of the Hexenhaggers' power to the wild and mysterious Black Forests. As old truths come to light and new dangers are revealed, Fritzi and Otto uncover a horrifying magical plot at the center of the Hexenhagger attacks that leads back to Commandment Kirch, but their own growing feelings for each other may be the most powerful magic of all. So, sounds like witches, witch hunters, romantasy, a lot going on, a lot at stake. It sounds really good, and it definitely sounds like an October spooky fantasy read to me. So, that'll be book 2 for my October TBR. Book 3 of my October TBR is Enchantra by Kaylee Smith. This is actually book 2 in a series, so I'm hoping to finish off the series. Actually, I'm not sure if she's writing any more, but I do know that this is all that's written so far. So I'm hoping to finish off the written series. The first one was Phantasma, which I thought was fantastic, so I'm so excited to read book 2, Enchantra, which is a romantasy. T-Bone, calm down. Sorry if you can hear your tank rolling around and all the noise everywhere. But it says, welcome to Enchantra. There's only one rule: never ever trust your heart. When Genevieve Grimm's mother dies, she's left with questions no one can answer, until she receives an invitation to Enchantra, a cursed palace in Italy, frozen in time. Though denied entrance by the sinfully handsome yet hostile Rowan Silver, Genevieve finds her way in, and soon realizes her mistake. For Enchantra is a twisted labyrinth where Rowan and his 6 siblings are trapped in a deadly game at the mercy of a twisted devil and his ghastly spectators. Only one occupant of the house can survive. Genevieve must now win or die. Rowan warns her that he's the deadliest of the Silvers, that he always wins, that her only chance is to compete as his wife. So they must convince their audience that they're desperately in love. And while Genevieve's willing to do whatever it takes to survive, she also knows she can't trust Rowan, that the desire burning between them is a lie. After all, it was Rowan who taught her Enchantra's first rule: never ever trust your heart. Yeah, that sounds so good. And like I said, I absolutely loved the first one, Phantasma. So this is just a book that I've been holding on to, that I knew I was going to have to read this October, and I could not wait. So here it is, Enchantra. Okay, so far I have 2 romantasies and a thriller mystery. So I'm thinking I need a romance, and I just figured out another book I'm going to add. This is not a romance actually, but I just purchased this book yesterday, and it's very Halloween-y, so it perfectly fits. Let me grab it. The Hour of the Pumpkin Queen by Megan Shepherd. Yep, it's a Nightmare Before Christmas book about the Pumpkin Queen, and look at how absolutely gorgeous this edition is. I am obsessed with this edition. I think it's so pretty, and I got it from Books A Million yesterday, and I love it. That's all I can say. But let me tell you what it's about. Is Sally time as Pumpkin Queen running out? So it's 1 year since Sally and Jack Skellington got married, and they are settling into life, and she's stepping into her role as Queen of Halloween Town. But even with Jack at her side, it's not easy to be a ruler. Her seams are stretched thin with her royal duties and her new family, and she has her desire to bring her citizens across the hinterlands together. Then, a simple potion demonstration at Sally's inaugural Halloween exhibition goes horribly wrong, and things unravel fast. Sally and her new ragdoll apprentice, Luna, fall through a mysterious portal, landing in a new realm called Time Town. They soon discover that someone has tampered with the clock that controls Halloween Town, and Sally cannot return to the present-day version of her home unless she finds the culprit and resets time. So she falls into a different town called Time Town. So basically, she goes on her own little adventure through a portal, and I think it sounds so fun and so cute. And Nightmare Before Christmas novel, but it is very much Halloween themed, and like I said, it's absolutely gorgeous, and this is basically a no-brainer. It has to go on my October TBR because, need I say more? Okay, we are at 4 books so far. 4 books, so that means we have 1 to 2 more. So I'm going to pick a romance because I have to have a romance on my TBR, and then we'll see how I'm feeling, shall we? So my romances, we have a bunch of standalones up here, and then we have a bunch of series or starts to series down here. What am I thinking feels fall? Nothing. Oh, I got it. It's a dark romance, obviously. Come on, like obviously, Kim. Bam. Butcher and Blackbird by Bryn Weaver. This book is the start of a trilogy. It is the first one in a series. It's the start of the Ruinous Love trilogy. This is a dark romance, and let me read you a little bit about it. Every serial killer needs a friend. Every game must have a winner. Perfect for October. When a chance encounter sparks an unlikely bond between rival murderers, Sloane and Rowan, they find something elusive, the friendship of two like-minded pitch-black souls who just happen to enjoy killing other serial killers. From small-town West Virginia to upscale California, and from downtown Boston to rural Texas, the two hunters collide in an annual game of blood and suffering, one that pits them against the most dangerous monsters in the country. But as their friendship develops into something more, the restless ghosts left in their wake are only a few steps behind, ready to claim more than just their newfound love. Can Rowan and Sloane dig themselves out of a game of graves, or have they finally met their match? I think that this is, oh my gosh, so beautiful, and I'm excited to read this, and I think it is the perfect romance for October because it's a dark, spicy, spooky serial killer romance, so that seems like the perfect kind of October read, if you ask me. Okay, friends, I'm thinking that feels like my October TBR. So I typically make a TBR that I try to read throughout the month, and then I am going to be doing challenges, which adds extra books that I want to read throughout the month. And then I also just kind of mood read throughout the month. So if there's any books that I'm like, oh my gosh, I really, really, really want to read that, I obviously let myself read them because I'm going to be reading what I want to read. So because of that, I'm going to be picking 5 books for my October TBR because I'm hoping that I'm going to be reading 10 to 15 books in October, which means that gives me 5 books on my TBR, like 5 for a challenges things, and then another 5 to mood read, give or take. So we will see how it goes. But let me give you a quick recap. So this is my October TBR. We mood picked together based on spooky, Halloween, just October vibes, honestly. Just really October vibes. I'll be honest, I didn't really pick any cozy books. I'd say most of my cozy books I kind of picked for September, for more of like the September fall, transitioning from summer to fall vibes. And then October's more of like the spooky vibes for me, like like basically these kind of books, the spooky vibes. So we have Forget Me Not by Stacey Willingham. We have Night of the Witch by Sarah Resch and Beth Revis. We have Enchantra by Kaylee Smith. We have Hour of the Pumpkin Queen by Stephanie Shepard. Is her name Stephanie? No. By Megan Shepard. I apologize. And we have Butcher and Blackbird by Bryn Weaver. So these are my 5 books on my October TBR. And I am so excited to read them next month, and I'm so excited to share them with you guys and talk to you guys about them. Let me know if you've read any of these books. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. No spoilers as always, but let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and we'll talk about them and we'll chat about all things books. Also, I've been thinking about maybe doing some vlogs where I review books, so just very short like book review vlogs as well as spoiler book review vlogs. So let me know if that's something you would ever be interested in watching. Thank you guys so much for being here and watching me pick out my October TBR. I'm so excited to read this next month, and I cannot wait to get into it. I'm so excited you guys are here with me, and I continue to share all things books and life with you guys going forward. Hope you guys have a fabulous week. Live well, read some books, and go discover, my friends. Bye.